Hello there, this is the guy that might be flamed after this video, and welcome to this AFK journey video. So I'm expecting some people flaming me for my final verdict for Lenya, but just a disclaimer, okay? I did a final verdict for Lenya based off the experiences as well as observation in the Song of Strife season, but right now, based off what I observe on the Waves of Intrigue side as well as how the meta is evolving, I think Lenya might be a character that you want to go for to get good results in the Waves of Intrigue season. So based on the current timer, it's about 1 day and 8 hours, and by the time I release video, we should still have about 20 hours left before she leaves us. Okay, so I'd like to take this 20 hours opportunity to let you guys familiarize yourself as to why Lenya might be a really good pull for your account, with all the different things which I'm going to discuss in today's video. Okay, so without further ado, let's start with the very first thing I want to discuss, and that is the artifacts. So right now, based on whatever is available in our collection, I think all of the artifacts isn't really particularly like favorable for Lenya specifically, but moving forward we will be getting two very important artifacts that will make Lenya a lot better. Number one is the Great Sword artifact, which deals physical damage as well as deal physical defense debuff. So this is one artifact that goes really well with the physical teams in general. The life drain, the attack speed buff as well as the attack percentages greatly increases the damage output potential as well as survivability of physical centric teams. So Lenya, being a premium physical attacker, is gonna benefit from this artifact and will be benefiting from the team building portion. So that's number one. Number two, right, the more important one is the frontline spell. So based on my observation in the Pioneer testing site, a lot of the meta teams actually ran frontline spell with Lenya. So from my memory, I think Olsen, Lone Gaze, Alpha Bear were the three which I can remember. As for the other bosses, I can't exactly remember whether or not it was frontline and Lenya, but based on the combination of frontline spell as well as Lenya's single target massive potential, it is definitely viable that frontline spell will make a lot of the melee teams moving forward a lot more impactful, because this frontline spell over here provides haste, which is an ever important stat in the game, right? Life drain for sustain as well as additional physical and magical defense for survival. But what's most important of this artifact is this ability. So whenever an allied hero first enters the enemy side of the battlefield, the hero gains a permanent shield equals to 60% of the team's attack. This is a massive shield which will greatly increase the survival of your melee units that enters the enemy side of the battlefield. And on top of that, if you have 3 different allied heroes in the enemy side of the battlefield, you will plant a banner of inspiration, and this banner of inspiration increases the damage of all allies and reduce damage taken by them. So this is a permanent buff as long as you're on the enemy side of the battlefield. So this is extremely helpful for your melee teams that rushes to the enemy side. And this applies mostly to the Dream Realm side because the bosses don't move. So if you're moving forward, you are entering enemy's territory. This artifact is also insanely good for the arena side, because if you rush into the enemy side, you'll get all this good buff, right, to keep your team alive, to actually do more damage as a whole as a team. So this is an insanely good artifact for the melee centric team. So if we take a look at just these two future upcoming artifacts itself, these two are actually insanely good for Lenya moving forward. And if you combine that with Lenya being a premium single target damage dealer right now, you can see the potential of Lenya becoming even more important moving forward. So that's number one. Okay, number two, for the Dream Realm side of things, I can't confirm whether or not she was meta for at least 3 or 4 of the bosses in the Pioneer side, but for Lone Gaze as well as Olsen, right, Lenya's viability will remain. This is because these bosses has mechanic that Lenya can capitalize on, and their mechanics which makes Lenya super strong. So let's start with the new boss Olsen first. So Olsen right here, the key part of Olsen kit is Warrior's Pride, which allows him to gain Fury stat, which reduces damage as well as increase the damage potential of Olsen. Right, so Lenya over here has the ability to remove Fury stat because she has a bunch of abilities that applies a 2-second stun. So this stun is able to, even though not stun the boss, but is able to remove the Fury stat, which reduces the efficiency of this skill greatly. Since this is a ever improving skill that increases with difficulty, this ability to remove the fury stack becomes even more important moving forward. And hence, I don't see Lenya going anywhere, because Lenya will be the premier carry for this boss moving forward as we move from the common 1, common 2 to the hard, to epic, legendary, hell, and then eventually the endless mode, because of the mechanics of this boss, right? So this is one boss that Lenya will probably stay relevant. And for Long Gaze has the ability right here, right? If we go into the ability right here, so sorry for that. Okay, so this Wolf King has a 30% chance to dodge the enemy skill from enemies within the mist. So if we take a look at Lenya's ability, right, why is Lenya so good for this boss? Because Lenya's ultimate will actually teleport to the enemy and deliver the flying kick, and then continue to kick them with more kicks, for example, from the skill itself, as well as the tornado strike skill. So against the boss, because we can't reposition the boss itself, Lenya will actually stick really close to the boss to continuously deliver damage. This is where Lenya will most likely not be within the mist cloud, and this means that the boss will have a lesser dodge chance against Lenya whenever Lenya is closing in on him in the boss battles itself. So this is why mechanically Lenya is insanely good against Long Gaze as well as Olsen. So moving forward, despite me not knowing the scaling for physical damage or true damage or magical damage, I can safely say Lenya will remain relevant for at least these two bosses as the premier single target physical carry. So that's for the Lenya's usage in the Dream Realm side. Another thing I realized with regards to Lenya's usage is that like I mentioned just now multiple times, Lenya is one of the premier damage dealer for the single target side. So right now, with the physical damage side being a little bit lackluster in terms of like the unit's general comprehensiveness, I think Lenya as the physical attacker for the physical team will be a thing, right? So recently, Glyph Shape right here, there's a brand new Lenya team, right, which features a Shakir, which features Mikola, which features Kruger together with Vala, is able to do a massive amount to Glyph Shade. So I have a recording of my own run with Lenya against Glyph Shade, which gave me upwards to 2 billion damage. Insane amount of damage. So I think Lenya as a carry of choice for the physical team is going to stay relevant. So moving forward, if there are bosses that needs you to do damage on the physical side, then Lenya will be your prime choice and will be your best choice, at least for quite a few months, because the next unit is Sinbad, and then after Sinbad we have a choice between either Bonnie, which is a magical attacker, right? We also have the units like Luca, which is a tank, and then there's a possibility that our dear Carmine Whisper boss could be a very good physical attacker as well. So there could be a chance that she could be good, but then like Sinbad is not exactly a main carry, Luca is a tank, Bonnie is a magical attacker. So moving forward, that premier physical attacker slot, right, I think Lenya will hold on to it for quite a bit. So pulling for her now to prepare for that physical teams that you want to build up or use in future contents will be decently worth it. So that's pretty much it in terms of the analytical side of things. So if you're not convinced by the analytical side that I provided for Lenya right now, I think if you're a fellow Gyat lover like myself, I think investing in Lenya for the waifu element as well as the Gyati elements, 10 out of 10 worth it. Okay, so that's it for this video. Hopefully this is helpful for you guys, and I'll see you guys again in my next video. Bye guys.